This is Bob Barr bringing you another edition of Liberty Guard's Laws of the Universe, law number 1, which is, you know it, the world is full of idiots. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to follow Liberty Guard on social media. Well, the world is full of idiots, as we all know. You don't need me to be telling you that. You know it. But here on Bob Barr's Liberty Guard's Laws of the Universe, we like to highlight law number 1 to bring to your attention some of the truly idiotic things that people, governments, institutions do that might have escaped your attention. Well, today, our idiot is, well, sort of a twofold idiot. It's an individual and then a government. Okay, put on your geography hat. We're going over to West Flanders. Now, there's a town in West Flanders called Izegem. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Izegem. And this little town decided, for some idiotic reason, that they would have a sculpture prepare or make a sculpture to the COVID pandemic. I mean, why you would do a sculpture to a COVID pandemic? That would be like in ages past doing a sculpture to commemorate cholera or smallpox or typhoid or yellow fever, whatever. But anyway, in this day and age where people look for reasons to celebrate all manner of things that in rational times you don't celebrate, this town in West Flanders decided to present a sculpture commemorating COVID. And the local sculptor is Piet Duthrois. Here again, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I don't mean to intentionally mispronounce it. But he comes up with a COVID sculpture that is this, looks like concrete or granite monstrosity of a sort of a, what I first thought of when I saw the picture of it as a mini Stonehenge. It's just stone pillars. And apparently, the reason for doing this sculpture to commemorate the COVID pandemic is to illustrate that people were in jail. Well, yeah, a lot of people may have felt that way because of the overreaction by the Netherlands government and others that forced people not to go out and not to do things. But if you ask me, it's a pretty stupid, bordering on, if not passing into the idiotic realm of things that government spends money on or decides to do. But it sort of got me thinking, some of the idiotic sculptures that we see in the world, some of them private, some of them public. One of the most notable ones that I've seen a number of times when I've gone to the United Nations up in New York is the AntiGun Sculpture of a revolver with a twisted barrel. The barrel is twisted into a knot. This has been in place, at the entrance to the General Assembly set of buildings in New York for many, many years. And it highlights, of course, the anti-gun agenda of the United Nations, which we can get into all of that another time. But then we have some other strange ones. There's one here, I guess this is somewhere in Nebraska, maybe, where a sculptor has created a field of corn, cobs of corn in stone, 100 of them in this field. Each one is 6 feet tall, a field of corn cobs. Anyway, and then sometimes government overdoes these things. There may be a good reason for a monument, but they just overdo it. The Oklahoma City bombing in 1995, early 1995, a tragic event, certainly. But instead of having just a simple plaque or a stone monument to that tragedy, the government decides to overdo it. And we have this field of field of chairs, I guess, are lit chairs. I mean, sometimes these things are just overdone and become maudlin, where they should be something that is sober for people to look at and read and remember. Probably, though, to talk about something a little nicer, one of the funniest ones, probably the funniest one, is in Pasadena, California, where somebody has come up with a fork in the road. And, apparently on this street in Pasadena, California, you have this sculpture, which is a big fork, right in a little park area where there's a fork in the road. So, we go from the idiotic to the overdone to the comical. So the bottom line is, some of these sculptures and monuments are really idiotic, like the one to COVID in West Flanders in support of COVID, which, by the way, they could not even unveil publicly because they're afraid of COVID. So if you get this, they have this sculpture do a COVID monument, which looks and appears idiotic in and of itself. And then they have to cancel the unveiling because they're afraid that somebody might get COVID. Idiotic on so many different levels, but that's the world we live in. We look forward to your being with us next time for our next edition of Bob Barr's Laws of the Universe. Law number 1, the world is full of idiots. This is Bob Barr, and I'd like to thank you for having checked out our program here today, Bob Barr's Laws of the Universe. We appreciate your support, your participation, and encourage you to go to libertyguard.org to learn more about our programs and also to help support to further individual freedom and fight against government abuse. One of the ways, but not the only way we do this, is through Bob Barr's Laws of the Universe, but through many, many other programs in support of individual liberty and against government abuse. So please remember to join us. Go to libertyguard.org and join us once again for Bob Barr's Laws of the Universe. Thank you.
My name is Matt Strickland. Liberty Guard saved my family business. I spent most of my adult life fighting for my country overseas. When I came home, I became a small business owner and sadly realized that nobody would fight for me. Our state and local government were trying to shut my family business down for good. And that's when I found Liberty Guard. With Liberty Guard's help, we won the battle against government overreach. And now my business is thriving and growing faster than ever.
Stand with Matt and others just like you in the fight against government overreach. Join Liberty Guard today.